Hi there, this is Jake Pippin with Sloan Implement, and today we're going to go through a little bit of the basic functions on the TruSet monitor. We're not going to go real in depth like doing calibrations and getting to some of the diagnostics and everything on it. We're just going to go through the basic run page on how to set stuff up and what some of the pictures and everything means. So now we're going to go through the display a little bit. We're not going to hit a lot of the stuff like the calibrations and everything. We'll save that for a later date, and some of the diagnostic stuff, we'll leave that till a later date once we're in the field, and we can give you a little bit more of a real life show with it. But today we're just going to kind of cover some of the basics of it, how to do the presets, how to set your shank depth, your basket pressure, turn everything on and off and stuff like that. So we'll start out up here in the top left. As you can see, your picture of your tool, you got your shank depth. Right now it's showing negative 11.8. That's because we're folded up right now sitting on the lot. Our set point is for 1 inch depth, 1 inch deep. Our basket is set at 50 or 500 psi. Right now it's showing 50 again because we're raised up. And to be able to adjust either one of these, you can just click on basket, and using the up and down arrows we can adjust in 25 psi increments. The bottom one in the white box is our set point, the top one is our actual. Now say we wanted to change it, we want to bump it up or down in maybe 10 psi increments. Up in the very top left with the arrow and the dot, we'll hit it. That's our shank depth setting page. We'll scroll over one, we'll go to our basket pressure settings. And over here on the left we have our increments up, increments down. So we'll just go to our increments up. We'll go to 10 psi. Same way for our down. We'll go to 10 psi. We'll go back out of here. And now when we go to set it, we're setting in 10-pound increments up or down. Same way for our shanks. We'll just tap on the shank. Again, we can raise and lower in half-inch increments. Again, if we want to change that, we just go back up to the top left, go back to our shank depth page, our increments, and we'll set it for 1 inch increments up, and we'll set it for 1 inch increments down. Our set point over here right next to increments, our upper set point is going to be how far it comes out of the ground when you're making your turns. So if you want to leave it, if you want to come up say about 6 inches, 5 inches, so your baskets are still kind of sweeping the ground so you can get the tire tracks out. Again, you just click on it, negative 5 inches, there we go. Same way if we want to adjust our lower set point, we'll just click on it, set it to 1 inch, and hit save. If we needed to do our cylinder rephase, we can either do it manually or we can set it for auto rephase. Right now rephasing is off. If we set it to auto, every so many turnarounds, it'll do an auto rephase. So basically we'll go in here, we'll hit auto rephase, cycles between rephase. We will do, say every 5 down and backs, we'll go ahead and do a rephase. We'll hit save. That's all we got to do. Now every 5th time we're turning around at the end of the field, it's going to go ahead and do an auto rephase for us, and we don't have to worry about the field cultivator getting all wavy. And we'll go back out to our main page. Over here in the bottom left we have our presets. You can see I already made one that says hillside. Now let's say I'm going to go ahead and set one up so you guys can see how to do it. So we'll just hit our preset number 2, or we'll hit save. Preset number 2. It comes up with our shank depth and our basket pressure. So I'm going to say normal operating, I want to be at 3 inches deep. Basket pressure under normal conditions, I want to be at 500 psi. And I'm going to go ahead and name this one, we'll just name it flat ground. Okay, we'll hit the enter. Now I have two presets saved. Hillside, going on the hills again. My shanks are down to 1 inch. My basket pressure, I just left it the same. Now we get back out on the flat open ground. I want to set my shanks back. One touch on flat ground. My shanks came back to 3 inches deep. My basket pressure is at 500 psi. Very simple to do. You have 4 different ones you can set up. Over on the right hand side of that, you have your basket gauge. Now there is a gauge on the front side of the field cultivator also. In case something happens with TruSet and it quits working, you can still go back there and set your gauge. You just need a little Allen wrench, and it's just turn the handle in, turn it out, set your pressure on there. Now our gauge here, we have our settings button again, and that's going to take us back to our basket pressure settings. We have an on-off to turn the hydraulics on and off for our rolling baskets. And then we also have another place where we can set our pressure increases or decreases depending on what you're looking for. So that's pretty much the run page of it. We'll go into a little bit on the 3 buttons over on the right hand side. The arrow with the little dot, this is going to be for some of our fine tuning and what we're going to use to set up the machine. Like I said, we won't spend a whole lot of time in here. We got our calibration tab, SCV, so we can set up what's controlling what on which SCV. Our tool, so we can put in if we have a 2230 level lift, floating hitch, whatever we have, implement width, and our tuning. Our tuning is basically going to adjust our raise speed and our lower speed, so you can do just what it says, fine tune it. The book with the wrench is going to be for diagnostics. This you can come in here. You got all your different, your system info, status, several different sensors and valves, trouble codes. So if you're having issues with it, this is going to be more of like the diagnostic stuff that technicians are going to need if you start having troubles with your field cultivator. We'll hit the TruSet tillage, takes us right back out to our run page, and we're good to go. Yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of the TruSet tillage run page. If you'd like to see any more or have any questions on it or even schedule a demo, contact one of our 20 Sloan locations and we'll be glad to help you out. Thank you.